your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
Take your business to the next level in 2025 with help from WaFd Bank. WaFd Bank's business accounts and cash flow tools get you paid in hours, not weeks, so you can grow your business and meet your goals. You need a best bank. Visit wafdbank.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
Cars for Kids, your trusted charity for car donations, also accepts donations of boats, RVs, motorcycles, and real estate. Call today, 877-CARS4KIDS.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick in Los Angeles. After 3 nights of protests over federal immigration raids, the destruction is evident. Rick Montanez is there.
A lot of damage and destruction out here. We are just off the 101 freeway across from one of the federal buildings, a few blocks from the federal detention center. And you see these cars here. These are Waymo cars that were vandalized and then set on fire, and they burned down to the ground completely. We're still seeing a large police presence, but at this point, not really much in the way of protesters, at least not yet anyway.
In the meantime, the governor's threatening to sue over President Trump's deployment of the National Guard. Legal analyst Jessica Levinson.
Governor Newsom is saying you're invading on state sovereignty. We don't want the National Guard to be federalized. And not only did we not ask, we're actively saying we don't want them here.
Scott McFarland reports on the latest on the Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador and brought back to the U.S. to face charges.
We expect him back in the federal courthouse in Nashville at some point this week for the next step in his new federal criminal case, this smuggling case and this case that has brought 2 felony charges so far against Abrego Garcia, with the Department of Justice leaving open the door to perhaps bring more.
President Trump's new travel ban took effect today. It bars citizens from 12 mainly African and Middle Eastern countries, as Stacey Lynn reports.
The president says the ban is necessary to preserve national security and prevent terrorism, saying the countries had deficient screening for passports and have historically refused to take back their own citizens.
The Trump-appointed head of the National Institutes of Health calls dissent the very essence of science. Today, health workers wrote him a letter that said, "We dissent," and outlined how new policies are impacting their work. Jim Ursula has that.
The letter says Trump administration policies waste public resources and harm the health of people worldwide. Jenna Norton signed the letter.
What is happening at NIH is so egregious. The harms that we're seeing happen to our research participants and to public health.
The NIH workers readily admit they have jeopardized their jobs.
Some very important trade talks are taking place in London between the U.S. and China. The White House's Kevin Hassett.
The purpose of the meeting today is to make sure that they're serious, but to literally get handshakes and get this thing behind us.
Investors on Wall Street are carefully watching for any signs of progress in those talks. On Wall Street at this hour, the Dow Jones Industrials are down just slightly, about 28 points, and the S&P 500 and NASDAQ are flat. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A man is charged with burglaries at the homes of sports stars. The story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. Construction on State Route 529 is causing a big backup coming out of the north. There was also an earlier crash causing some delays. Bottom line, travel time, Arlington to Everett is an hour and 20 minutes. That's typically a 15-minute drive. The crash is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound near US 2. We're not seeing a big backup there just yet. Travel times, though, across the board a little heavier than we see this time of day. Everett to Seattle, 41 minutes. Federal Way to Seattle, an hour and 5 minutes. Renton to Bellevue, 47. Traffic brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A Seattle man is behind bars, charged in a string of burglaries at the homes of local sports stars.
King County prosecutors charged 21-year-old Earl Riley IV with several counts of burglary and robbery, including thousands of dollars worth of jewelry and handbags from Seattle Mariners Luis Castillo and Julio Rodriguez, and several watches worth more than $100,000 from former Seahawk Richard Sherman. Prosecuting Attorney's Office spokesperson Casey McNerthney.
They've got that vulnerability where they know they're out of town, where their road trip is advertised better than anybody else.
Riley is being held on $1 million bail. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Seattle police are searching for the gunman who opened fire this morning, wounding a 22-year-old man in the arm. It happened in the University District during an argument as a party was wrapping up. In Kent, a man was shot and killed at his own 21st birthday party over the weekend. Witnesses tell police a group of uninvited guests showed up and was asked to leave. A fight broke out and someone opened fire. No arrests yet. It's going to be another hot, sunny day, but if you're heading to local lakes and rivers to cool off, KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibao says you should know about cold water shock.
Peter Mongelo with Snohomish Regional Fire wants to remind people that rivers and lakes can be frigid.
If they get in there, it's going to be bone-chilling cold, and if you're not prepared for that, your energy could be sapped really quickly.
According to the National Weather Service, cold shock can happen in 50 to 60 degree water. Lakes closer to the Sound tend to be warmer, but Lake Tapps is at 51 degrees, and the Tolt River and Snoqualmie River sit at 52 degrees.
It's another good reason to always wear a life jacket when you're around open water. Pride Month has kicked off with the Pride in the Park event at Seattle's Volunteer Park. The theme this year is louder. Participants tell KIRO 7 TV.
There's a lot happening that's really challenging for the queer and trans communities. A lot of legislative challenges, lots of hate coming our way, and I think louder is a call to standing up, speaking up, fighting back.
The Seattle Pride Parade is set for Sunday, June 29th. Starting next year, Seattle will no longer host Microsoft's Build conference. A Microsoft internal memo obtained by KTTH's Jason Rance cited problems like drug use and tents around the convention center as a reason for leaving. The company says it's grateful for Seattle's support, but is releasing its reservations for future years. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs around 88 degrees. It is 68 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Hey, your boy is back. I mean, not just me. Ursula's back. Look, we got the gang all here. Happy Monday, June 9th. Welcome to the Gee and Ursula Show. We back, Ursula.
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, that's right. You were off on Friday, too.
I was off on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, your boy was went to school. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You went to school?
Yeah, I went to school down in Arizona.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was good. But I missed everybody. It's been a long time. We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we do.
All right, what we got to go on the show today?
Okay, well, coming up at 9:30, there's a whole stretch of freeway that you might want to just avoid altogether. I don't think it's going to be possible.
Okay.
But Sully's going to join us and tell us why that is, because it's going to be a hot summer for a bunch of different reasons. And then coming up at 9:47, you were really excited about this story. Yep. And I'm curious, where do you watch sports if it's not at home? What is the best place to watch sports?
Oh, good question.
Or listen to sports.
Text that in, y'all. Text those places in.
888-973-5476. 888-973 KIRO.
I know. Hey, Ursula, real quick. I know there's some folks that you might be working at 11:30, but there's some that's going to stick around on the show until 11:30. If you stick around at 11:30, I have a story. It's story time with G that involves a civil rights leader that's connected to my family.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
yeah.
you said we were going to save it for the air, so it's going to be the first time I hear this story.
Yeah,
too.
I was going to, Chef made a good idea. I was going to tell this off the air. Chef was like, would this be good on the air? I'm like, yeah, you know what? They need to hear this too. All right, Ursula, let's get to it. Ursula's top story of the day brought to you by Bath Bitter, Northwest.
So how you all feeling this morning?
Feeling hot.
I had to bring back my cruise days. So we broke another heat record on Sunday, and there's a good chance you or your coworkers showed up to work today.
Yeah.
Maybe with sunburns, or maybe you came in cranky because you couldn't get to sleep last night.
Mm-hmm.
The temperature hit 96 degrees at SeaTac Airport yesterday afternoon. That broke the record of 92 degrees back in 1967. On Saturday, it got up to 95 degrees, which also was a record high for that day. It's expected to be another warm one today, but not record-breaking. And by Wednesday, the forecast is calling for a cool down of sorts. It's going to be under 80 degrees. And then by this weekend, we're looking for temperatures again in the upper 60s to lower 70s. But I just want to know, because you came back.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Hot. Yeah.
How you coping?
I'm good. I mean, we all know that we call these days, these are swamp butt days. You feel me? And it's rough. It gets a little sweaty. But I do have a PSA for everybody in corporate America that has a job. And this is important. I need to do this. Chef already knows what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Listen, if you have a black coworker, I know you've been out in the sun. I know you excited to show off your tan. Do not go next to your black coworker and put your arm next to theirs and say, well, Tyrone, look, I'm getting close to you. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
How many times has that happened in your lifetime?
I've seen it multiple times.
I want to point out that I am a few shades darker, and I did not do that this morning.
Chef has seen it. Chef has gotten real uncomfortable when he's seen it.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, well, just a reminder, though, very important to stay hydrated. You don't want to be like me the one summer where I wasn't hydrated and I ended up in the ER. So you want to make sure you stay hydrated, drink water, drink juice, drink a lot, and then also make sure that you check on your elderly relatives or neighbors because these are tough times, especially without AC. I don't think we have the mantra I don't think we have the title of least air-conditioned city anymore. I think that went away. I think more and more folks are jumping on the AC bandwagon. Can we check on that? Because I remember for many years it was like we had the fewest air conditioners.
Also, in 2025, if you look at the forecast and it's 85 plus degrees, 90 degrees, and you are still trying to have a get-together at your house with no AC, you're not a real friend. Sweeping statement. You don't care about others.
Okay, that's just a really privileged position. How about just bring out the fan? Okay, we're going to move on because we got a lot of serious news, to talk about. As the manhunt continues for that father accused of murdering his 3 daughters, we're learning more about Travis Decker and his relationship with the girls. KIRO 7 TV spoke with the attorney for Whitney Decker, the girls' mother, who said that Travis was very present in his daughters' lives, taking them to dance and soccer practices, all of it.
Whitney would tell you Travis loves 2 things in this world, those girls and Jesus. That was Travis.
So attorney Ariana Kozart says what happened came as a complete shock, but she also points out that a lot changed after Travis returned from combat in Afghanistan. He was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and he also suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder.
He was able, I think, to keep it together for the girls, but, he certainly wasn't kind to her, and he struggled, I think, with feeling that he was worth a family, that his life was worth that. And he sought resources. A lot of that we didn't know before he abducted the girls.
And now she says it was hard for Travis to get the help that he needed from the VA because of a lack of staffing and funding. And she believes had Travis received help, those girls would be alive today.
They haven't been able to see new veterans, any new patients for 6 months. I know Whitney believes that these children would not be dead if our government, our military, if our veterans would have been supported.
as far as the manhunt, there are more than 100 local, state, and federal officers and agents still looking for him. And in the days before the murders, he had Googled how to relocate to Canada. He'd also searched for jobs in that country. So he could really be anywhere.
Yeah. First, I want to just say this before we kind of dig into this, Ursula. It's tragic that those girls are no longer here. Those precious lives are gone. I think everyone that's listening right now, you probably wish that there's something that you could do to prevent something like this. So I want to start off with that. Now, I'm going to just keep it simple, Ursula. I plan to talk about this at length, but I want to just keep it simple. Let's all want to do a better job of helping our veterans, helping our people that are really struggling in this country. Let's try to do less social programs being divested from. Let's not try to, when you try to trim the fat in the VA, you're trying to get rid of workers and things like that because you're saying that potentially there's all DOGE comes in, does all these things. Let's put more of a spotlight on the people that are struggling and understand, because what we can't do is we can't wait until it's too late.
I like what you're saying, but the reality is we are seeing cuts being made. We are seeing, I mean, if even in the best of times there were difficulties getting the help they need, it seems to me that people only care when something like this happens, and then you're looking back and going, oh my God, why wasn't there more resources available? Or there's questions about why was he allowed to have access to these daughters if he was homeless and this and that? I mean, there are a lot of questions that are being asked now, but if the mother of these sweet girls is saying, this is something that I didn't even expect, that he lived, like she said, for Jesus and for these three girls. Obviously something happened. Now, there are going to be a lot of people who say, look, a lot of people suffer from PTSD. That's not an excuse. They wouldn't go to the extent that this person did. Who knows what was going through his mind? But that is why, first of all, I hope they find him, and I hope they find him alive. Mm-hmm. And he needs to pay the price. But some of these things, it raises questions about, what kind of help is there for our veterans, for people who put their lives on the line and they can't get help when they are suffering?
Yeah. That's very true, Ursula. And I'll say this as well. I don't know what it is like to have gone to Afghanistan or Iraq or anything like that. I only know how tough of a time I did have during the divorce time. And sometimes, some of you, maybe you have had a very hard time. And one thing, Ursula, you could be good on Monday, everything's great, and all of a sudden on Tuesday you wake up and even though it's sunny outside, it's gray, right? And there is a movie right now on Netflix. If you all get a chance, I know I'm always recommending movies, but with Taraji P. Henson, it's called Straw. It's the #1 movie right now on Netflix. If you see that movie, you could get a little understanding on how things can just trigger and domino effect can happen. 1 minute you're good, and in the next minute you're not, and it happens just like that. Somebody's trigger, everybody all has a different trigger. And yesterday, after the movie Straw, my buddy Rob Sims, who you all know, that's where I went to go live when I was homeless. He sent me a text. He says, man, this movie is something. He says, man, all because she got the ticket, and he was talking about this. And I text him back, and I said, yeah, remember that time I lost it over brakes, and I needed to get brakes on my car, and I needed $350. That $350 that I needed, Ursula, I'm telling you, I thought the world was over. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And to which I told him, just yesterday, thank you for sending me that $350, because that $350 was able to get my brakes fixed, and I was able to get my kids, to and from.
Completely different trajectory of your life.
Yeah. I want to mention real quick, Ursula, because you touched on this. It's important that we don't stereotype PTSD,
right?
Because veterans do face discrimination from the stereotype that is, violent, out of control, all of that. This comes up in divorce proceedings, directly weaponized against veterans. Mm-hmm. And when it comes to the mental health thing, I have to mention that we pay a lot of attention to a story like this because it's 3 little girls, but there are over 30,000 veterans from the post 9/11 era who have committed suicide. And that matters. And we should care a lot more about that. And if you have reached that snapping point, there is at least a 988 number that you can call these days.
And that is a great reminder. And again, why do we wait until there is a tragedy when this should be coming on the front end? People who have sacrificed their lives, their livelihoods in service of our country, and they should not be forgotten. And again, justice needs to be served, and what happened here is horrific, but it just raises all sorts of issues. For another night, police in Los Angeles have clashed with demonstrators who are angry over immigration raids.
This is about not just immigrants. This is about humanity. They're taking away all the fruit vendors right here. People that work for a humble, honest living.
President Trump has federalized the National Guard and has deployed them to L.A. against the wishes of that city's mayor and California Governor Gavin Newsom.
We'll send whatever we need to make sure there's law and order.
But as CBS's Nomi Rusher reports, local officials think this is only making the situation worse.
President Donald Trump deployed National Guard troops, bypassing California Governor Gavin Newsom.
I did call him the other night. I said, look, you got to take care of this, otherwise I'm sending in the troops. That's what we did.
Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass have appealed to protesters for peace while blasting the president's move as inflammatory.
I don't want people to fall into the chaos that I believe is being created by the administration.
Newsom has requested that the White House rescind the deployment of National Guard troops, calling it a serious breach of sovereignty. Meanwhile, the U.S. military has confirmed to CBS News that 500 active duty Marines are prepared to deploy if ordered to do so.
Well, Ursula, my friend of mine, I won't say his name, his sister was working down in L.A. inside of a Home Depot. She's she's working in the Home Depot. Sent pictures. They sent the text. I saw the text messages, saw the pictures. And as you all know, sometimes at Home Depot, you have sometimes undocumented immigrants out there that are kind of
Even
for
here.
hire.
Uh-huh.
They're trying to work. Anyway, those undocumented immigrants came inside to the Home Depot, and they had them hidden inside. The managers brought them in, had them stay in there. And I just want to say this, Ursula, to simplify. Conduct massive illegal raids. They do that. Then they provoke a counter response, right? Like, hey, get the counter response going. Then you declare a state of emergency. Then you deploy the National Guard without Governor Newsom's opinion or decision on that. That is the first time, listen, y'all, 2025, President Trump, the president, deploys the National Guard without the governor approval. The first time since Lyndon B. Johnson, 1965, when he deployed the National Guard to protect those girls going to school in Arkansas.
Right. And so now it has created a situation where maybe the National Guard is actually going to be needed because now it has become even that much more violent. And the question is, I mean, we're talking about whether it's constitutional. Should a president be able to override a governor's authority to seize control of a state's National Guard? Again, this undermines state sovereignty, and the whole idea of that is this overreach. I mean, essentially, though, this is playing into exactly what they want. Basically, it's to turn it into even more chaos. Yeah. And then it's like, the National Guard is going to be needed, and it is going to become just that much worse.
Well, I can actually answer that question for you. We're going to talk about this later, but I do need to bring it up. Governor Ferguson signed a bill that would require the governor's permission for National Guard from any other state to be deployed here, but
This only gives us the authority to prevent other state National Guards from coming in. Should the president federalize or order the National Guard from coming in, that is still permissible. That is federal law.
That's Representative Charlotte Mena. So Title 10 allows the president to nationalize the Guard under invasion or threat of invasion to the U.S., rebellion or insurrection against federal authority, or when U.S. laws are being obstructed and local enforcement can't do it.
Well, and he said during his campaign that he regretted not having the National Guard come into Minneapolis, right?
Mm-hmm.
During the George Floyd protests.
Now listen now, check this out. If you all want to prevent the president from being able to deploy the National Guard and have to have the approval of the governor, remember, this can go both ways.
Exactly.
This can go both ways, meaning now you're in a situation where you have one of those type of governors doing some sketchy stuff, right? And the president wants to deploy the National Guard, and that governor says, no, we don't want them.
I mean, the president says it's all about law and order. But again, that was absent, and that kind of energy was absent when we were talking about January 6th. But here in the case of L.A., when they're not asking for the help, he's sending it.
Law and order, like you said, Ursula. I heard you mention January 6th. Donald Trump incited a violent mob on that day, January 6, 2021. Those rioters beat police officers during that time, right? Beat police officers. And then what did they do? 1,500 of them were pardoned. Miss me with the whole law and order.
Oh, by the way, did you see that while we were gone, the Proud Boys leader of Washington, Ethan Nordine, he's joined in a $100 million lawsuit against the Department of Justice over that January 6th case.
Guess who did not call out the National Guard to January 6th, despite multiple calls from the governor and the head of the Defense Department?
Exactly.
Okay, Ursula, good stuff. Hey, coming up at 9:47, Seattle ranks among top 10 U.S. cities for sports after work. But up next, Chris Sullivan is always a good time when he comes in. But he wants you to know you might expect some major I-5 delays. He'll explain next. Gee Ursula.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO Newsradio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's a brave face we put on. We never want to be any trouble. But you know, getting older isn't all smiles and birthday parties. Sometimes it's facing the fact that we are aging. And you know what? That can be pretty hard. If you need a little support or just want to talk to someone, 988 is here for you. It's free and it's confidential. Call 988 anywhere, anytime. A message from the Washington State Department of Health.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GREEN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GREEN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
At Care Partners Senior Living, we believe in providing quality care at an affordable price. Instead of spending on luxury and expensive art, we invest in our people and accommodations with a focus on compassionate overall health. Our communities offer independent, assisted living and memory care designed to preserve dignity, independence, in your estate. Affordable, personal, trusted. That's our promise. Please give us a call. We have beautiful Care Partners communities throughout Washington and Arizona. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Hold up a sec. If I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfer is available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Guys, it's Men's Health Month at Revive Seattle. Get a free comprehensive wellness panel. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Valued at $400. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Police have dispersed crowds in Los Angeles, declaring downtown LA an unlawful assembly area, according to CNN. This follows days of protests. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti reports.
Thousands took to the streets on Sunday to protest immigration sweeps happening throughout the region and the country. Downtown, protesters set vehicles on fire, threw rocks at squad cars, and blocked the busy 101 freeway.
Dozens have been arrested. President Trump deployed 300 National Guard troops. Governor Gavin Newsom says he did not request them and they are not helping. Legal expert Jessica Levinson.
Critics of the president are arguing that this is a manufactured situation so that he does have the power to ultimately say, look at all this chaos.
Newsom tells MSNBC he plans to sue the president over this. And CBS's Scott MacFarlane says some are seeing a double standard.
The Trump administration's denunciation of the unrest in Los Angeles, yet its acceptance of what happened January 6th and the mass pardons.
Hundreds were accused of beating police officers at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Here in Washington state, a Wenatchee mother has visited the campsite near Leavenworth where her 3 young daughters were murdered, police say, by their own father. Whitney Decker's attorney tells KIRO 7 TV.
Whitney and her mother actually drove up to that campground. But where the girls and Travis, where his truck was off trail. Quite a bit.
Travis Decker is still on the loose. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin with the latest on the search.
Over the weekend, Icicle Canyon outside Leavenworth was crawling with law enforcement on the ground and choppers constantly flying overhead. Those crews include the National Guard, Coast Guard, Border Patrol, Homeland Security, and city, county, and state resources. I've been speaking with the locals here, all of them saying you didn't have to know the girls personally to see how bright of a light they were.
Seattle hit 90 degrees yesterday. That's the hottest June 8th in nearly 80 years. The National Weather Service says the old record was 87, set in 1948. There is a heat advisory today through 10 tonight. On Wall Street, the Dow is down about 8 points. NASDAQ up 61. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, construction on State Route 529 is causing a big backup on your commute out of the north. You are solid from the Union Slough to Totem Park, and your travel time, Arlington to Everett, is still an hour and 20 minutes. Sully tells me that's typically a 15-minute drive. In Seattle, a disabled vehicle is blocking a lane on the I-5 express lane southbound near Mercer Street. Watch out for that. In Algona, the crash has been cleared from State Route 167 northbound at Ellingson Road. You're still backed up, though, to about 24th Street East. Traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 88. It's 68 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
I'm their conduit, and I'm glad to do it.
Good morning. I mentioned at the top of the show that it's going to be a hot summer, and one of the reasons it's going to be especially hot is all this construction on I-5. We are going to have a divided Seattle. The Ship Canal Bridge is about to become the dividing line. Snohomish and Pierce County residents may as well be living in different time zones. What are we talking about here, Sully?
We're talking about Revive I-5.
Oh, my God.
We're talking
Is
about...
that an exaggeration of what I just mentioned?
Maybe a little. But
Okay.
it drives home the point that basically we're cutting capacity through through Seattle by half in the northbound direction. They are in the process, WashDOT is in the process of doing some much-needed maintenance and work on the Ship Canal Bridge, which is 60 years old.
It is
hasn't
needed.
had any real full-on, they go out there a couple times a week for emergency repairs, and so what they're in the process of this summer is we will have about a month from mid-July to mid-August where the northbound Ship Canal Bridge will be just 2 lanes, 2 out of 4. So it's going to be cut in half. Now, to do that, on bookending either end of that month-long closure, they're going to close the entire northbound span, the entire bridge, for a full weekend, 24 hours on both sides, either side of that. And coming up here in a couple weeks, the weekend of June 20th, they're going to have 2-lane reductions as they get ready for this. So this is going to have a regional impact on just getting around in mobility, because in order to manage this, they're going to keep the express lanes open northbound the entire time. Which, it's makes sense. Okay, we'll give you some capacity there. Well, then that means in the morning, people who normally use the express lanes to go southbound aren't going to have that option. So that means southbound I-5 will be caught up in this as well, because they're going to lose their capacity to the express lanes. So it's going to be brutal all summer long, primarily that month from July 18th to August 15th, when we're down to 2 lanes the whole time.
You know what, Sully? I'm really grateful that you come in and you let us know about there being more traffic. But you know what? Listen, man, listening to you talk right now, there's traffic all the time. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Right now, there's traffic on Saturday morning. There's traffic on Saturday afternoon. When I done auctioneering, Ursula, it's traffic on Saturday night. Matter of fact, traffic is so guaranteed here on I-5, 405, and all that. It's no different than SCA, when you come into SCA, it is just awful right now. It is the Cabrini Green of airports. It's awful. I had to get that off my chest because your boy, I know you was just there.
It was awful.
Okay.
I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for the
Ursula.
Miami rugby team that came in on our same flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but that's a whole different topic. So it's going to be
Checkpoint 1 opened last weekend. hey, new Checkpoint 1 opened up last weekend.
Okay, so this month-long situation, they can't postpone it any longer because they had talked about, we don't want to do it, we do want to do it, we don't want to do it.
Yeah, so what happened? Originally, this was scheduled to be a years-long event.
Yeah.
But about January, they decided that they didn't have the money to do that. WashDOT didn't have the money. The legislature didn't have the money to do. They were like $15 million short to do the full-on work. So what they're going to do is kind of piecemeal it. Little by little, they're going to get about 20% of the work done this year. They're going to start working early next year and hopefully get most of it done before the World Cup. We've got about a year. The clock is ticking before the World Cup gets here, and they want to try to have most of this work done. There's going to be so much of southbound work being done over the fall and winter of this year. So, yeah, they're they should have ripped a Band-Aid off years ago and done this a long time ago. But as we've come to find out, the maintenance and preservation, how long have I talked about that they just don't do it, and they haven't done it, and that's a choice. But now that is a lifeline. Can you imagine what would happen if that bridge was out of commission for any length of time, what that would do to this region? It would shut it down.
Yeah, it would shut it down.
I mean, legitimately shut it down.
So having the 2 lanes possible. So what are the alternatives? I'm basically just expect 99 and any other.
Yeah, basically 99
through Seattle is going to be awful.
Well, a lot of them are going to go through your neighborhood, Ursula. It's going to be great. You're going to go through University District up through Roosevelt, pop your way back on where you can. Yeah, there just aren't many options. I mean, the express lanes are the primary go-to, right? They're going to stay open northbound. But that can only do so much. And, it's going to have a ripple effect. And, they're trying to get it, but they're doing this right in the heart of Seafair, too. I mean, if you think about it. So, yeah, it's going to be rough.
You know what's crazy, Ursula, is I absolutely do believe living outside of Seattle is the best. Let me explain why. It's simple. You ever just drive up to Seattle and something that is 2 miles, 3 miles away will take you 25, 30 minutes. But if you're coming from where my brothers and sisters down in Pierce County, it might be the same time. So here's my point. My point is right now, Seattle is just flat out overrated. I can't stand going down the streets.
What got into your coffee this morning?
Because I'm sick and tired of Seattle sometimes. And I can just say it. And so right here where we work at, we try to go. This car's got to get over, so you got to move to the side, and then you can't even go down the damn streets.
Yeah.
And we're paying $1 million for these homes in Seattle to live on top of each other. I'm just trying to show love to why you want to live outside of this mug and you be better. We're better together outside of Seattle.
As of this morning, my commute is still 12 minutes. So that's about to change.
Yeah, that's about to change significantly. Yeah, unless you want to do the smart thing, which is just sit in your front yard with Waze and keep saying accident to try to keep them out of your neighborhood. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be ugly.
So just for 1 month.
Well, yeah, but then,
Yes.
Ask the people trying to come through Marysville today when they closed things down for 1 day.
Yeah, that's true.
They're in an hour delay trying to get out of Arlington.
Okay.
For a road that isn't even on I-5.
I want to just point out that Sully never said pack your patience.
I never will. That's the worst thing in the world.
That you need to do.
It's the worst saying in the world. Stop it.
Hey, when you go to SCA right now, pack your patience.
Oh, my word. I tell you what, I thought Alaska Airlines was going to have to give us the whole baggage claim thing, too, by the way. Getting your baggage, and they tell you it's going to be this baggage claim number, and then it never is the right one. Tell me, what's that all about?
Ursula.
And this was at 11 o'clock at night.
Ursula. Go ahead.
And by the way, our plane, let me just keep going.
Come on.
Our plane couldn't even get up to the terminal where we were supposed to go because there was another plane still waiting to get out. Again, 11 o'clock. You know what the pilot tells us? Oh, yeah, this happens a lot at this airport.
Yeah. It does.
Excuse me?
This airport,
we were stuck on the runway.
I don't care. Look, I don't coop my partner, but look, it's getting rough out here. On Friday, your boy, we land at 6:15.
Yeah.
6:15. We get out. I get off the plane. Time to go to baggage claim. I go to baggage claim. They said, your bag, G, is at number 11. Okay, boom. This one says 11. This one says 11. Your boy waiting there. I took to social media, and I'm posting pictures.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't even see my deal yet.
Yeah, there's nothing. The belt's not moving.
It's 7:15. I asked the people. I said, why is it my flight on this one? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, the woman at Alaska told me, don't look at the reader boards. They're never correct.
So one lady was standing there, and she says, well, maybe you should just go over to 14 and talk to them. I'm like, yeah, but it's a long line. I didn't want to do it. But I said, you know what, you're right. I walk over there. It's 7:15, 7:30 now. I get over there. Guess what? My bag is sitting off to the side. My bag.
Everyone else figured it out. They asked before you did.
Let's be real, Gee. That was an oversized bag. I saw that thing. That thing was massive.
And there's a lot of stuff in there, too. I mean, hey, Sully.
That thing's full of stuff.
I was so mad. If somebody would have grabbed that bag, they would have had, I'm not even going to tell you what was in it. I'm not even going to tell you. Thanks, Sully.
Yeah.
Hey, coming up at 10 o'clock, I'm going to tell you how the new sheriff of Pierce County reminds me of Suge Knight. But up next, we do need to talk about how Seattle ranks in the top 10 of U.S. city for sports after work. Gee Ursula.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rurucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches?
You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
I just learned 10% of our electricity in Washington comes from nuclear energy.
I've heard it's reliable and has a small footprint, but what about the waste?
It's not what you might think. No overflowing dumpsters or leaking barrels. Used fuel is safely stored in solid form after powering homes, schools, and businesses for years. All nuclear power plants in the U.S. store their used fuel responsibly to protect the environment.
Where can I learn more?
You can learn about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com. Energy Northwest, powering our clean energy future.
If you want a dream bathroom without a humongous price tag, now's the time to call Bathfitter Northwest. Ursula Reutin here. I picked Bathfitter because they are the original one-day bath remodeler. They're a local family-owned business that's been around for 40 years. They own every step in the process to make sure you get the best quality product and the best value. Now get 0% interest for 24 months. Call the people I trust to do the job right, Bathfitter, or visit bathfitternw.com.
It is Gee Ursula Show. Nick, how you doing, bruh?
Doing well. Yeah.
All right, just checking in on you, man.
Yeah, it's a nice day today.
Yes, sir.
Gorgeous.
Hey,
warm.
coming up at the 10 o'clock hour, I know my man D-Dub in Lakewood is listening, and D-Dub, you will be excited to know Suge Knight will be used as a reference as we are talking about the new Pierce County Sheriff. But right now, I want to talk to y'all, and we do need to talk about something very simple. If you are leaving the office and heading straight to the stadium, you're in one of the best cities in the country. A new study by the Action Network ranked Seattle number 8 for post-work sports nights, that sweet spot where happy hour meets home field advantage. Here's how we stacked up, Ursula. Watch this. Weather. You know Seattle took number 1? Yeah, Seattle took number 1 spot for game night weather. Turns out mild temperatures, right, are really good. So the next time you go out of town, Ursula, you and everybody else, and they say, hey, so where you from? And you tell them, oh, I'm from Seattle. What is usually the next thing they say? Oh, it rains a lot, right?
Uh-huh.
So now, just educate that boomer and let them know, like, we got the number 1 weather.
It does rain a lot, but it's the kind of rain that really a lot of people don't even need umbrellas for. It drizzles.
But just so we're clear, LA has had more rainfall.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, here we go. Game availability. We're number 9 overall, thanks to the Seahawks, Mariners, Kraken, Storm, Sounders, and Huskies finding that lineup, of course, in Boise. Now, the quality of the commute, Ursula, it ain't good.
No.
It's 31.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
That's appropriate? Okay.
Yeah.
Stadium experience. We landed at 27, y'all, which is surprising considering
I disagree with that one.
Yeah.
Stadium experience. I don't think that there are too many stadiums that are as beautiful as the stadiums that we have. Maybe I'm wrong. I think just the view from our stadiums, including, I'll throw in Husky Stadium as well.
Hey.
Unparalleled.
Now look.
Right?
If Husky football can catch up with the view and the beauty, they'd be all right.
Throw that
right?
in.
Their view is better than their football.
Incredible.
Yes, I agree. Climate Pledge, I'd argue, one of the best stadiums in the country. No question. But what's happening is Lumen Field, right? It was built, you guys know when it was built. I think it was 2003 it was there. So they're starting to get time where other stadiums are coming ahead. So they're starting to go into the middle. But I'm with you. I disagree. Okay. Job scene, we came in at number 24 behind Portland, which ranked 6.
So for jobs?
For the job scene. Matter of fact,
what does that
Chef,
even mean?
explain that one to me.
It's basically like what the job market is, how many people work in the city and close to.
Okay, so you can afford
close to stadium access.
So you can also afford to go to the games.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing.
Look here, y'all. If you want to be able to afford,
you need to have some cash.
You can't live in Seattle if you want to afford to go to them games.
Just to go to games.
Yeah, true. City safety. What do you think Seattle ranked, Ursula, as safety?
I'm going to say 9.
28.
Oh.
But then again, we're surrounded by fellow fans post-game to walk back to your car or light rail. You know what happened? This is what I think. People started to chime in on parking downtown Seattle. And and I know that sometimes that could be a crapshoot.
And there are some areas where you don't want to walk at night.
Big facts. As far as the number one city when it comes to sports, it's Boston. And I got to tell you, having been there, it was pretty awesome. They really, really get into it and everything. Now, the question you asked earlier.
Yeah, where's your favorite place to watch sports if you're not going to the stadium and you're not home? Okay, don't say home. I know. So where are you going? Like, where's a great place? Where do people go to watch a game? Like, text us. 888-973-5476. 888-973-5476. 888-973 KIRO. I'd like to know, like, where is your hot spot? Like, if you want to go watch a game, is it just your neighborhood bar? Is there a sports bar that you love?
You know what?
I mean, I enjoy Joey's, but it's so loud.
I'll do this. There was a place in Puyallup. I won't say their name because it's going to be negative what I'm going to say. I used to love going to this place.
Oh.
Absolutely loved going to this place in Puyallup until a big story happened. I'll never go there again. I'll never walk into there. So I'm nice enough not to say their name, but that used to be my favorite spot. They had they had the nice food, nice atmosphere, and everything.
Who is really welcoming when it comes to, hey, this is where you want to go to watch sports?
I know.
I want to know.
Yeah. Oh, Dave says Buffalo Wild Wings. You know what?
True.
True, Dave. True. Yeah. Nick, you got any spots?
Recently, I've found the new sports books at the casinos. Those are really nice areas.
No,
not betting.
Stay away from. No.
Hey, you asked me.
Nick. Oh shoot, we gotta get out of here. Coming up next, more of the Gee Ursula Show.
Do you notice sounds coming from your crawl space or attic, or possibly stale or foul odors in your home? This could be that rodents have gotten into your attic and crawl and have made it their home. They tear up the insulation to make nests to have babies. They contaminate it with their biological waste, which can be harmful to your health. And they ruin your home's energy blanket, costing you thousands of dollars a year. If you even think you may have a problem, call Insulation Northwest today, and we will come to your home as soon as tomorrow and perform a free, no-obligation inspection to determine what the problem is. This inspection normally costs $199, but it's yours free just for calling today. If we discover any problem with rodents in your home, we can get them out and keep them out and restore your home's protective insulation blanket back to brand new condition. Let Insulation Northwest give peace and comfort back to you and your family and save you thousands of dollars in energy savings. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Wait, if I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Get 0% financing for 72 months on Cat compact construction equipment at NC Machinery. Built for performance, durability, and comfort. Buy now and take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months at NC Machinery.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. After 3 nights of protests against federal immigrant raids, Los Angeles is bracing for what's next, and that includes the governor's plan to file suit against the Trump administration for ordering the deployment of the National Guard. Elise Preston reports.
Not only are protesters and some Angelenos upset that the National Guardsmen have moved in, but we're also hearing that from politicians. Governor Gavin Newsom tweeting earlier today that he would sue President Trump over these actions. He believes that were done to manufacture chaos.
President Trump cites a legal provision that allows him to mobilize federal service members when there is a rebellion. CBS's Nicole Killian.
The last time the president used this authority bypassing a governor's request to deploy the National Guard, you have to look all the way back to the Civil Rights Movement, the 1965, that Bloody Sunday march in Selma, Alabama, and that was done at the order of then President Lyndon Baines Johnson to protect civil rights.
Scientists and others at the National Institutes of Health have written a letter outlining the dangers caused by the current policies. NIH worker Jenna Norton.
What is happening at NIH is so egregious. The harms that we're seeing happen to our research participants and to public health and to the institution of science are just things that we could not live with.
The workers in signing the letter said they knew they were putting their careers on the line. Some very important trade talks are going on in London between the U.S. and China. The trade war between the two countries has rocked global markets. Stacey Lynn has the latest.
Trump administration leaders are meeting with their Chinese counterparts as they work to iron out the details of a high-stakes trade deal. The purpose purpose of the meeting, according to White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett,
is to make sure that they're serious, but to literally get handshakes from Scott and Howard and Jameson, our 3 lead trade negotiators, and get this thing behind us.
The meeting follows a call between President Trump and Chinese President Xi last week. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, the White House.
There's been another prisoner swap between Russia and Ukraine, as Elaine Cobb reports.
Hundreds of prisoners from Ukraine and Russia have been exchanged as part of a deal between the two countries. Both civilians and soldiers from both sides are part of the swap, agreed during otherwise unsuccessful peace talks in Turkey last week. The prisoner exchange is expected to continue over coming days.
Ukraine says Russia launched 479 drones overnight, the biggest bombardment since the war began. The Dow is up 48. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business with Progressive and get 24/7 coverage. See if you can save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
A man behind bars accused of burglarizing the homes of sports stars. That story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. Construction on State Route 529 is causing big backups on your commute out of the north. And now on I-5 southbound at State Route 529, there is a disabled vehicle blocking the left lane. Your travel time Arlington to Everett is 80 minutes. This time of day, it's usually about 13. In Seattle, a disabled vehicle is blocking a lane on the I-5 express lane southbound near Mercer Street. Watch out for that. Traffic brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A man is behind bars charged in a string of Western Washington burglaries and robberies at the homes of sports stars like Seattle Mariners Julio Rodriguez and former Seahawk Richard Sherman. Casey McNerney with the King County Prosecutor's Office.
It's really concerning when you have that alleged behavior to say that they were going after people knowing that they were vulnerable.
21-year-old Earl Riley IV is being held on $1 million bail. A fire in Seattle's Wallingford neighborhood last week is now being investigated as a murder. Firefighters pulled a 72-year-old woman out of the burning home. She died 2 days later at Harborview. Detectives now believe that fire was set on purpose and someone left before first responders arrived. Police are investigating 3 separate shootings in the Puget Sound region.
Early today, gunfire in the University District following a party-ending argument. A 22-year-old victim is in stable condition and the shooter is at large. Saturday, in nearby Sandpoint, Seattle police located a 38-year-old man claiming to be a victim of a drive-by shooting. Police couldn't find shell casings or a firearm and believe the shooting actually occurred in the victim's residence. And in Kent, Saturday, a man celebrating his 21st birthday fatally shot after what Kent police say was an argument with uninvited guests. The suspects fled the scene. Scott Carty, KIRO News Radio.
It's going to be another hot, sunny day, but if you're heading to local lakes and rivers, you should be aware that the water can be extremely cold. Peter Mongello with Snohomish Regional Fire tells KIRO 7 TV you can quickly feel the impact.
Your hands become less functional. You can't grab onto things as easily. You can't swing your arms as easily. But you know what? If you got that life jacket on, you're at least you're afloat.
Cold shock can happen in 50 to 60 degree water. Pride Month is underway. KIRO 7 TV's Brandon Thompson says it kicked off at Pride in the Park in Seattle.
Washington and Seattle, a refuge for this community as the Human Rights Campaign has tracked laws in other states rescinding protections for people. Washington has increased them. It is that environment that has people we're speaking to wanting to speak out.
Standing up, speaking up, fighting back.
For more than a decade, Pride in the Park has been the kickoff to Pride Month in Seattle, highlighting businesses and performers who are queer and trans.
The Seattle Pride Parade is June 29th. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine today with highs around 88 degrees. It's 72 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
You know what, everybody? I kind of missed y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. If I go, Ursula, if I go too long without talking to the folks, somebody texted in and said, "Oh, Gee's excited today." Yeah, I'm really excited. My body feels good. The sun is out. Ursula's back. I'm back. It's just good to hang out. Happy Monday, June 9th, Gee Ursula Show.
I know. When I was coming back from vacation, you know that feeling of dread that you usually have at the end of vacation?
Yeah.
Like, oh, gotta go back to work.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that. I haven't been feeling that. It's like, yeah, I had my time off, and now I'm ready to be back. Although, while I was on vacation, someone posted on our Facebook page, Ursula, why don't you just retire already?
They did say that?
Yeah, but then I think they took it down because I couldn't find it anymore. I responded. I was like, wait a minute. I mean, I finally got to the point where I can take vacations, and I will. But it doesn't mean I don't enjoy my job.
I get it. No doubt. I get it. Because when I used to...
what?
When I used to be a car detailer, and I would listen to radio.
Yeah.
And, like, I would base my job sometimes on the timing of the show. And so when that host wouldn't be there, I would be kind of upset.
Irritated?
Too. Yeah, I get it.
Okay, I hope that's what it was. Not that she really wanted me to retire. I'm not going to retire just yet. Hey, coming up at 10:30. So we were talking off the air. What should happen? Like if you were part of the peaceful protests going on in LA, what would you do or what would you want to do when you see others coming in and causing a ruckus?
Right.
And, I mean, that's obviously happened here where people are doing something peaceful and then all of a sudden there are some who come into the crowd. Is there anything that you could do or you should want to do or how should the response be? That was one of the questions you were asking. Yep. And we had a couple of ideas, but we'd love to hear from you. Text us 888-973-5476, 888-973-KIRO. But right now...
What's new at 10?
So, unfortunately, we got to bring up the Pierce County Sheriff, Keith Swank. He's back in the news again because he is calling out the state patrol on social media, and he is essentially, I would say, questioning whether it's a real law enforcement agency. And so this is how this is rolling out. Last Wednesday, during the official Pride flag raising event at the state capitol, there were 2 columns of state patrol cadets who apparently accidentally interrupted the ceremony by marching straight through the middle of it. And so if you look at the video footage, you'll see it does look odd. And you might say it's stark symbolism, really, because it's a crowd of LGBTQ supporters raising the gay pride flag and then law enforcement officers walking right through it. So I'm not going to go deep into it, but if you don't know your gay rights history, the Pride movement actually began after the Stonewall riots, and that's dating back to 1969. So you can take a look at what happened there. I don't want to get into all of it because essentially it just was a really bad look.
Right.
Okay. And so the State Patrol has now issued an apology saying that the team leading their cadets to their graduation ceremony did not adequately communicate about the alternate route that planned around the crowd. So the State Patrol says this really was a mistake. It was never our intention to disrupt an important community event. I don't know why Keith Swank felt like he needed to inject himself in this, but apparently that apology hacked him off. And so on social media, he said the agency, the State Patrol, should be embarrassed for apologizing. And this is a quote. Any WSP who wants to work for a real law enforcement organization should come work at the Pierce County Sheriff's Office.
Keith Swank is the Suge Knight of sheriffs. And can you repeat that statement again, Ursula? So I want to make sure so I can give clarity and context to me calling him the Suge Knight of sheriffs.
So he said that the agency should be embarrassed for apologizing. The State Patrol should be embarrassed for apologizing. And any Washington State Patrol officer who wants to work for a real law enforcement organization should come work at the Pierce County Sheriff's Office.
Ursula, 30 years ago, 1995, at the Source Awards, this was a time where there was an East Coast, West Coast beef in the rap community.
Okay.
It was P. Diddy and them, Bad Boy and all that stuff, right? And then it was Tupac with Suge Knight. Well, Suge Knight took to the stage. And here's what Suge Knight said 30 years ago, and this is why it sounds just like the sheriff of Pierce County.
And one other thing I'd like to say,
any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star and don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
So Suge Knight wanted everybody, hey, if you want a real spot to come to Death Row. And in the case of Keith Swank, the sheriff of Pierce County, let me just tell y'all something. I told you all before, this dude does not want any type of peace. All he wants to do is cause disruption to the point that I know his goal is to grab other cops that think like he does. Like, I wouldn't be surprised because just recently the Supreme Court just said that the cops from Seattle that were at January 6th can no longer remain anonymous. I would not doubt if those cops that I hope one day we find out, I would wonder if they would want to go work for Keith Swank because it aligns with that type of thinking.
Well, again, I just want to ask, does Keith Swank, the sheriff of Pierce County, really think that that is a good look to berate the state patrol for apologizing for making this mistake? Does Keith Swank not represent a community that also has members of the LGBTQ community? Does Keith Swank, is he basically saying that state patrol is not real law enforcement? I mean, that sounds like it. If they want to work for a real law enforcement organization, they should come to work at Pierce County. I'm sorry, but I'm embarrassed for him. Yeah. I'm embarrassed. I think that he is an embarrassment for the Pierce County Sheriff's Department, which has generally a good history. One of my friends, one of my friends just retired from the Pierce County Sheriff's Office.
Sure did.
So I just look at that. I'm like, how does that help?
Yeah. Well, hey, Ursula, I don't know if he's listening right now. I don't know if you are a friend of this man, but I want you all to know that on June 9th, on a Monday, 2025, y'all heard G say it. Here we go. I miss Ed Troyer. I miss Ed Troyer from Pierce County.
Paul Pastor. I mean, I'm just going to say that Keith Swank, I mean, this is the same guy who, as a Seattle police captain, he was basically interim chief Sue Raw, remember? She said he would have been fired because of things he did there. I mean, basically, he, on his own social media posts, I mean, I guess we shouldn't be surprised because he would mock trans people. He would make all sorts of racially insensitive comments, such as labeling a black suspect as a violent animal.
Keith Swank is the Lauren Culp of sheriffs.
He also posted that bestiality and pedophilia were part of the LGBTQIA plus community, misgendered the Montana trans state representative. Gee, can you imagine if we were to get on air, on the record, on the radio, and say, state troopers aren't real law enforcement?
Could you imagine?
What kind of disrespectful BS is that?
And I know that the State Patrol is now staying quiet on these comments
because
by
they're
the sheriff.
professionals.
Because they're professionals. Yes. And real quick though, hey, again, the reason why I'm saying I miss Ed Troyer is, look, there are things about Ed Troyer I did not like, no doubt. However, I never felt that Ed Troyer was trying to do worse for Pierce County. I would not say that. And
I think Ed Troyer made mistakes, but I think he was a decent human. And I just look at this, I'm like, wow. It's shocking.
Like I said, we are going to continue to see and get this out of this sheriff. And it's interesting because can you believe like talking like that towards law enforcement, towards Washington State Patrol? That's crazy.
Okay, let's talk about this. You heard it in Heather's newscast. There's a Seattle guy who's behind bars today. He's charged in a string of burglaries at homes of a lot of folks that you know. For example, Seattle Mariners pitcher Luis Castillo, this person who's 21 years old, is suspected of stealing about $6,000 of worth of Louis Vuitton bags from the home of Luis Castillo. More than $190,000 in high-end purses and jewelry from M center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Several watches worth more than $100,000 from former Seahawk Richard Sherman. Okay, first of all, I just want to know how. He knew where everyone lived. He knew what they were going to have. He knew what to steal. King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office spokesperson Casey McNerthney says they have now charged 21-year-old Earl Riley IV.
They've got that vulnerability where they know they're out of town, where their road trip is advertised better than anybody else. You know that the Mariners are out of town. You know that Richard Sherman's on the road as a commentator. It's really concerning when you have that alleged behavior to say, that they were going after people knowing that they were vulnerable.
L.A. Dodgers pitcher Blake Snell, he's from Washington. He had his home broken into. Thankfully, nothing was taken there. Prosecutors say there was an attempted burglary at the home of Edgar Martinez, Baseball Hall of Famer. And this is also happening elsewhere. But so this guy, 21 years old, is being held on $1 million bail. He's scheduled to be arraigned next week. And I know that apparently he is suspected of being part of a larger crime ring. And now there's talk of some connection with the triple shooting in Pioneer Square recently.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that we have to point out, and Casey McNerthy's right, they are able to look at their schedules, see when they're on the road. I know, and see when Richard Sherman is out of town. But in this specific case, the one with Richard Sherman, remember, his wife and 2 young kids were in the house when they came in with guns blazing. Stop right there. Can you imagine people breaking into your house with guns blazing?
Wait, they fired shots?
No.
Guns blazing. Yeah.
They're
Okay,
out.
got it.
So for that to happen, that is unbelievable. Sure, yeah, a lot of things can be replaced. Now, Ursula, I want to say this. How much time in prison can you get for breaking into someone's home? Right now, if someone goes and breaks into Charlie's house down the street, how much time they getting?
I got to look it up, but it's not enough.
And that's why I'm bringing that up. I'm bringing that up because, let's be real, it's not that much of a penalty. Now, of course, if you go into someone's home with brandishing a gun, yeah, that's going to be a higher penalty for that. But they need to make it a high penalty regardless. You go and you breaking and entering into someone's home, put them in prison for 10 plus years. I promise you will see a decrease in breaking in cribs. Go ahead. What you got, Ursula?
Well, I'm just looking. So second-degree burglary, Class B felony, penalties ranging from 1 to 10 years in prison and or fines. Again, anytime you hear the 10 years, that's like in the extreme case.
Sure.
First-degree burglary, the most serious type, could carry penalties of up to life in prison. I've never heard of that, along with potential fines. Something would really have to happen if you were to get that long of a sentence. I think a lot of times it's not that serious.
I think that's the problem.
Julio's girlfriend was at home at the time, too. She hid in the bathroom during the entire burglary. Like you're saying, you can replace things, but can you replace your sense of safety?
I didn't even know that about Julio. Wow.
Okay, can I end with a really positive story?
For sure.
Okay, this is just so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
A 5th grade trip to Camp Kilauea, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but hopefully I am, is something kids at Olivia Park Elementary in Everett have looked forward to for years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost canceled. The school didn't have enough male chaperones, and without them, the district couldn't send the kids. So here's what they did. I think it's just genius. Mm-hmm. They reached out to the Everett Police Department, and 4 officers said yes, they would do the chaperoning. So because of that simple act of stepping up, the trip is back on. Officer Wade Wyrick, who actually went to Camp Kilauea himself as a kid, said he was not about to let those kids miss out on something that meant so much to him growing up. And for a lot of these students, this is going to be the first time ever sleeping away from home. First campfire, first hike under the stars, first taste of independence. So Officer Stephen Ross said it's also a way for kids to see officers as human, as allies, outside the badge. Now, this is not so positive. The camp is funded through outdoor education grants, which are now being cut in the new state budget. And unless the school finds another funding source, this could be the last year that this trip even happens. But one of the school staff put it really beautifully. She said, outdoor education is becoming a lost art. And she is right. So hopefully something can come through so that something like that. I just remember the first time our sons went on a overnight camping trip. And that was a big dang deal. But I just want to say kudos to those officers who stepped up. Thank you, Everett PD. And here's hoping that next year's class gets a chance to make their own camp memories as well. I love that.
Love that. Shout out to all of the officers, especially Everett PD, that thought they didn't have to do it, but they did it anyway. And I'm glad you brought this story up because we love to highlight that.
Yes.
No doubt. You got to highlight when good happens.
Yes, and it happens a lot, and we don't get an opportunity enough anyway to bring it up. But I also want to bring up, did you ever go to outdoor camp or did you ever go to overnight camp?
Ray Meyer, Blue Demon, DePaul Blue Demons basketball camp for a week. Remember I told you I didn't go to the bathroom for a week? But go ahead. So other than the bad constipation, it was not a positive experience. Yo, my stomach was playing songs. Boom, 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 boom.
So that explains why you had the Louis Vuitton rolling suitcases the last time you went camping.
Your boy was struggling. I couldn't go in them bathrooms. Hey, y'all, look. Can we admit? Most of the time, them bathrooms nasty. I'm not going in there.
But that's the whole. Okay, I'm the last person to be talking about this because my kids would lament all the time. How come we never went camping growing up? So I envy your kids.
Yeah, well, you just gotta learn how to breathe, not breathe through your nose. That's an important life skill for camping and babies.
Just roughing it up. Yeah, roughing it out there a little bit. It's something you and I have no idea how to do.
Shit. Can I question?
Yes.
Should we do the civil rights in my family for scenarios? Or should we just wait until 11:30? What do you guys think?
Do it for scenarios.
Do it for yeah.
Yeah, do it for scenarios.
Okay, all right. Scenarios is a personal story that I'm going to share with you that happens to involve the Reverend Jesse Jackson. But up next, right now, we all know about the president and deploying the National Guard for the protests down there. Can we talk more about that and what differences and what new things that protesters can do? Next, Gee Ursula.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
You listen to The John Curley Show every afternoon. What does John listen to every morning?
I listen to Charlie and Manda, get my pot of coffee going, then turn on Seattle's Morning News, and I begin to build my show that way. And you want straight news without opinion, just giving it to you with the facts. There's only one place to go, Seattle's Morning News.
The perfect bookends to your daily commute. Seattle's Morning News and The John Curley Show on KIRO Newsradio. Download the KIRO Newsradio app to listen anytime.
If you are sick of looking at your grimy tub and you've been avoiding it at all costs, it is time to do what our family did and called Bath Fitter. Why Bath Fitter, you might ask? Well, I like to do my research, and this is what I found out before we had Bath Fitter create a gorgeous bathroom for my mother-in-law's house. At Bath Fitter, you are not getting a cookie-cutter solution. You get to design your own bath from walls and tubs to handles, doors, and colors, everything. Their designer will help you create that perfect bath or shower that fits your needs and your style and your budget. And Bath Fitter's quality is truly unmatched. They use the very best materials that take laser precise measurements. And what that means for you is a bath that is going to be built to last. They have more than 40 years experience, and it's no wonder they have more than 2 million happy customers, including me. And right now they are offering 0% interest for 24 months. So now really is the perfect time to get that new dream bath. Call Bath Fitter today or visit bathfitternw.com.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Reutin, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something?
Boat wins!
Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing?
Boat wins!
Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing?
Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Secret Clinical dominating extra stinky stress sweat. And this is regular deodorant. Secret Clinical in a heat wave. Oh, what a beautiful day. This is regular deodorant. Ugh, I can't. Secret Clinical with workout sweat. Let's run another marathon. And regular deodorant. How much more? Secret is the GOAT. Because nothing fights sweat better.
Stay fresher under pressure. This could be the oddest gift anyone's ever given me.
But I'll bet you use it.
When the time is right, I suppose.
That's the idea.
A plunger.
An Apollo plumbing plunger.
Free for me?
Actually, free to everyone we visit.
Because?
We believe some things you can do on your own.
And if this plunger can't fix it?
Apollo Plumbing will.
Just like that.
You call, we come. It's fixed.
Wouldn't you rather I just call?
You're welcome to.
Okay.
But for a simple backup?
Something I can solve myself?
Try your free plunger.
I'll admit it's kind of spiffy.
Apply a little pressure.
And if it still won't clear?
Call Apollo Plumbing.
The ready right now plumbers.
Our big blue trucks come stocked full of fixes.
And a plunger wielding plumber.
A clean screen trained and trustworthy Apollo plumber.
They come in a jiffy?
Arriving when promised to put plumbing problems in your past.
And give me a free plunger.
That too.
You know, I kind of like this plunger.
I'm sure it'll come in handy.
Just like Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Smoked paprika in your go-to goulash? That's go-go goulash. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion and provide better access to SeaTac. Open soon, free through summer.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Dozens arrested after days of demonstrations and vandalism in downtown Los Angeles. The protests are over immigration raids and deportations. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti has an update.
It is completely locked down. You easily have hundreds of police officers staged throughout the area. We were here, thousands of protesters yesterday. They've since been dispersed this morning. The focus today, though, for law enforcement, federal buildings, which has become the target for these protests after the National Guard was sent in yesterday.
Governor Gavin Newsom says he did not ask President Trump to send in the National Guard. Newsom, a Democrat, is accusing Trump of trying to create chaos, and he says he'll sue over this. CBS's Scott McFarland adds.
There's another layer to this, and it exists here in Washington, D.C., where there remains outrage over those mass pardons for the violence against police January 6, 2021.
Critics call it a double standard. Here in Washington state, the search continues for Travis Decker, the 32-year-old man accused of murdering his 3 young daughters, whose bodies were found at a campground in central Washington. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin has the latest.
Officers shut down Icicle Road in Leavenworth for 5 days to search the encampments. That's now open, along with all of the campsites and trails along that road. However, the impacts of this search for Travis Decker are still lingering in that area. Only a handful of people driving in and out. We went in there ourselves yesterday. Didn't see a lot of traffic through that area. I talked to Border Patrol. They said the same thing. Not a lot of people even bothering to come back there.
Investigators say Decker is a former Army Ranger and an outdoorsman who could survive in the mountains. The new independent state agency that investigates deadly police encounters just started work in December, but it's already facing budget cuts. The Office of Independent Investigations tells the Washington State Standard its budget has been reduced by more than 20%, part of the state's belt-tightening. Consumers are feeling a little better about the direction of inflation. More from CBS's Jason Brooks.
The New York Federal Reserve's May Consumer Survey found that inflation expectations for the short, medium, and long term dialed back from the previous month, with inflation expected to rise 3.2% over the next 12 months, down from 3.6% in April.
On Wall Street, the Dow is up 94 points, NASDAQ ahead 72. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, you have construction on State Route 529 in Marysville that has traffic backed up on I-5 to State Route 531. That's just south of the Arlington Municipal Airport. Your travel time, Arlington to Everett, is 1 hour and 5 minutes now. Better than earlier, but this time of day, that drive is usually 13 minutes. In Kirkland, a crash is blocking 2 lanes on I-405 southbound at Northeast 85th Street. You are solid back to Totem Lake. In Seattle, a disabled vehicle's blocking a lane on I-5 northbound at Alborough. Traffic brought to you by KIRO Newsradio. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs around 88 degrees. It is 72 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. We sure appreciate you hanging out with us on this beautiful, warm Monday. It is going to be another hot one today.
I just want to say, Ursula, you must be getting used to doing a show with me, because I thought that you would stop and pause on what I called and described these last few days, and you didn't budge when I described it.
I know you did. And
Did you hear it?
Yes, something to have to do with the rear end, and it's like sweaty, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm used to that kind of stuff from you.
I was impressed. I just knew for sure you'd stop.
You know what happens? If I give it attention, so I choose not to give it attention, and then you bring it up anyway. And now I got to go into a serious story. Thanks, G.
All right.
Okay. So this year, our governor signed into law a bill that would require the governor's permission for the National Guard from any other state to be deployed in Washington. Of course, this all becomes pertinent because of what is going on in Los Angeles. And Representative Charlotte Mena explains what is in this bill.
This only gives us the authority to prevent other state National Guards from coming in. Should the president federalize or order the National Guard from coming in, that is still permissible. That is federal law.
Okay, so to be clear, Title 10 of U.S. Code allows the president to nationalize and call up the National Guard from any state under 3 conditions. Mm-hmm. One being the invasion or threat of invasion of the U.S., rebellion or insurrection against federal authority, And then the third one would be when laws of the U.S. are being obstructed and local law enforcement can't handle it. So the president is arguing that at least two of these are pertinent when it comes to what is happening in Los Angeles. And he did, after he returned from Camp David, he spoke with reporters on the South Lawn about the unrest in L.A.
People that are causing the problem are professional agitators, they're insurrectionists, they're bad people, they should be in jail.
So, I mean, we've seen it. We've seen that there were protesters, and I would call them rioters, who were throwing stuff at the police. There are people who were setting cars on fire. There are people who were vandalizing stuff. Yep. I mean, and that is not, in my opinion, and I believe in yours too, in the name of protest, that is not effective. That is not okay, and their butts should be in jail. They should be arrested.
Yep.
So we're in agreement with that. But the question is, should the National Guard be called in this situation when you've got a governor, you've got the mayor of the city, you've got the governor saying, and at one point LAPD saying, we've got this under control.
Right.
And then at some point the police chief said, well, if it continues, maybe we would need the help from the National Guard. So one of the questions you were saying is, what should happen? Because it seems like anymore when you have a massive, what should just be a peaceful protest, there are always some who turn it into some kind of spectacle, who turn it into, then there's violence, then there's breaking into the stores, et cetera, and then the message is lost.
Ursula, I know you love Scrabble.
I do.
Do you like chess?
Not as much, but okay. My dad and my brother were really good chess players.
Yeah. For all of you all that love chess, Chef, you like chess?
My brother was too good. Killed my love of it early.
Yeah. Well, I'm not good at chess.
But you need to be able to think ahead and do the moves.
Yeah, I know. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right now, the Trump administration, they are playing great chess. Because what they are doing is they know any move you make right now, they're going to come and they're going to do their thing. Example, when this whole thing, the illegal raids happen, which, by the way, we're going to be seeing a lot of that. We saw it here. We saw it coming up with the roofing company. We're going to see this. They ran their campaign on mass deportation. They're going to do this. Do I agree with it? No. And neither do you. Neither do a lot of people. You want to go get the murderers and the rapists and all of them?
Yes, please.
Great. Go get them. But I want to be on record and saying something. When or if you are an undocumented immigrant and you get detained for a crime down in California, even though there are organizations that disagree with California, you will get directly deported. You will be detained and sent over to these detention centers. That's in California. So I think the way California was doing it, it is great. Now, the way they're doing it right now, I don't like them showing up to Home Depot when there's undocumented immigrants trying to go for work, but they're coming after them. With that being said, Ursula, I don't think you can go and protest the same as you used to before because the administration, Trump administration, is playing chess. They want you to go out there because they know that if there are, let's just say 100 people, let's say 100 people are out there, 99 are protests, signs in the air, heck no, we won't go, all that stuff. There's one person that throws a rock. It only takes one person to set it off, and here comes what Trump wants. You see the photo that they keep spreading around with there was this guy on top of a car with his face covered with a Mexican flag. You see what I'm saying? And so what happens is the Trump administration goes around the United States and they're saying, hey, look at what they're doing. And now you lose Ursula, you lose me, and you lose a lot of people because we can't disagree that the rioters are making it bad for the protesters.
Yeah, and the rioters should be arrested. And the question is, were the local law enforcement, and even if they called for backup from area law enforcement, before calling in the National Guard. Because, again, once you do that, now you've ratcheted it up. Now you've got people even riled up more, and maybe people who wouldn't have acted out and started the rioting are now, I mean, it just plays into all of it. Now, I'm not willing to say the Trump administration wants the vandalism, et cetera, et cetera. And I know that.
No, I wasn't saying that.
Yeah. But what's happening now is, yes, it now can be used to look. These are insurrectionists. Mm-hmm. These are people who are, and it's like everybody lumped in together.
Right.
And none of us wants the violence. None of us wants the destruction or the vandalism. But my question is do we want the president working against, I mean, blue state, red state, whatever it is? Do we want that as a precedent where now it's like you're not even working together with local law enforcement or the local leaders?
Threatening to arrest the governor?
Threatening to arrest Governor Newsom? Threatening to, I mean, Trump was asked about that. He said, yeah, you know, I would if he should be arrested. Yeah. And then I heard him say, well, you know, Governor Newsom's a nice guy. He's just grossly incompetent. I mean, you may think that, but why do we have the federal government working against the local government? They're supposed to be working in tandem. This is the part that should be troublesome to everybody.
Mm-hmm. This is what Keith Swank down as the Pierce County Sheriff does. This is the goal. They want to do those things. And what happens is we have this right here. It's really unfortunate. Coming up next in Scenarios, Ursula, I have a personal story that I'm going to need you all's help with. And it has to do with a civil rights leader that you know of, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. We do that next, Gee Ursula.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Pickleball is, obviously, it's a growing sport, but also just the community in Seattle, they've already welcomed it. The beautiful thing about this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
You know, we're excited about this pickleball tournament. It's all about bringing families together, but also, you know, you get to come out there and compete against myself, Doug, Michael Bennett, and we are the most competitive people. So regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl. And again, it's just all about bringing community together and having a great time, but all for a great cause and raising money for these grassroots organizations.
Come out and help me beat Cliff. Help me beat Cliff.
All right, this is going to be fun. Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
When the heat's in 11, cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Beat the rush. Act now before summer, because that heat's a real bummer.
Dayandnight.net.
This is the time to plan ahead, so you stay cool this summer. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Call us about installing a high-efficiency cooling system or servicing your existing one so you're cool when you need it.
Now save up to $6,000 on qualifying cooling equipment.
Dayandnight.net.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Cars for Kids, the easy way to donate your car. Donate today and your car can be picked up tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.com or 1-877-CARS4KIDS.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel. A $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
It is the Gee and Ursula Show. I just want to say, Ursula, like my man Brian in Marysville just said, when you talk about chess, it was an explosion on Thursday or Friday with the whole Elon and Trump. That was the biggest story, and it would have been the biggest story on Monday. But then now you have this happening, yes. The deployment of the National Guard. You have Musk deleting things.
Yeah, that was a short. We weren't even here to talk about it.
Come on now.
That was short-lived. But suddenly, are you driving your Tesla or you're not driving your Tesla?
I am driving the Tesla right now, but that thing is getting ready to be up out of here in less than a year. Scenarios.
Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
I'm going to ask you right now, should I say something to my family or should I let it go?
Okay.
So, yesterday was Sunday. My niece, Carrington, has just graduated from college, and she is getting ready to go now towards her master's. She's going to be a veterinarian, okay? And she had a big old party and everything. Yesterday, it was all fancy. I wasn't there. It was in Chicago. I couldn't make it because I'm tired. I just couldn't go. Now, I'm looking at the pictures, Ursula, and I see all the pictures, and I see the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who he is a family friend of ours, right? No doubt, has been. But Reverend Jesse Jackson. But when I looked at the picture, Ursula, he's in a wheelchair now, no doubt.
Aww.
And when I saw the picture, I saw my sister draped over him, my niece, and their everything, and I could just tell how uncomfortable he looks.
Oh no!
Like it's. And so I said to my daughter, because my daughter was there, I said, "Why does it look like they kidnapped Reverend Jesse Jackson?" My daughter texts me back and says, "How did you know?" And I said, What? What are you talking about? She says, "Let me explain." So, because his handlers had something to do on Sunday, they told my sister that they would not be able to bring Reverend Jesse Jackson to my niece's graduation party. My sister says, oh, okay, no problem. I'm going to just come over there and I'm going to bring an award because we're going to give him an award at our event. At our event.
The graduation party.
The graduation party. So
Interesting.
Right. So they said, oh, okay, no problem. Bring the award. My sister's on the way to Jesse Jackson's crib, right? This was only a ploy to get into the house. So they come in with the award. And then when my sister gets there, now she's putting pressure on the handlers. Even though the handlers have something to do, she's putting pressure on them to come to the party. Yes. Oh. So she makes them feel bad, and we have an award for them, the presentation, and this and that. So she worked on them for like 10 minutes. Finally, they said, okay, we'll go for an hour. We made them go. They show up to the party. My sister just did it just for the photo ops. Y'all ever know anybody that just do stuff for the photo ops?
No.
Just for the photo ops.
Oh.
So here is my question.
Oh, my God.
I am going home next weekend. There's a thing going on back there. Should I say something or should I let it go?
Let it go.
Let it go?
Yeah, because what would your intention be to say something? It's already been done, right?
Yeah.
It's already been done.
Yeah.
You weren't there.
Yeah.
It would just be to do what? What would your point be?
Dang it. I don't like you do this. You win, Ursula. You win.
There would be no point.
You win.
The point would be to ask, what the hell are you doing?
And especially since I don't believe you talk to your sister that much. So the time that you talk to her would be to just rip her on the fact that she basically kidnapped Jesse Jackson. I think that might have been the easiest scenario ever.
So, all right.
Just stay out of it.
Where you really got me was like, you don't even talk to her that much, but you got me. Chef, what do you got, bro?
I don't even have anything to say because some of the stories that you have and the things that happen to you or your family are so beyond stupefying to me. It's like out of my literal realm of imagination. Like, how does this happen?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to guess, does he want people to see that he's in a wheelchair now? Because that was news to me. Has that been a while?
That's right. He has not been shown in a wheelchair.
So that might be
oh
why
my
he
gosh,
looked
that's like
extremely
a Teddy
uncomfortable.
Roosevelt event.
Oh.
Or,
and by the way, earlier I showed you all the picture of him, right?
You did, yeah.
And did you see the trophy?
Yes.
It wasn't guys, everyone. You know what I'm going to do? On the Facebook page, I'm not going to post him in the wheelchair, okay? Out of respect. But I will post the award. Wait until you see this flimsy trophy that he got. Nick, what do you got?
An award during a graduation ceremony, no less.
It sounds like they got themselves into this mess. I would just stay out of it if I were you and keep my mouth shut. Was just trying to keep track of the process they were going through to just try and get him through to the picture. Man, that was just, they were playing chess themselves.
All right.
Well, your sister has the power of persuasion, though, sounds like.
You know what, Ursula? I should just probably get out of this segment.
Yes, you should.
Because let me just say this. Her power of persuasion reminds me of a very famous politician that we all know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
You should be proud of me, Ursula. Hey, coming up next on the Gee Ursula Show, let's have a little fun with Agree to Disagree and how important can your Costco membership be? Next, Gee Ursula.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic is your best plan for long-term well-being and personalized health care. Dr. Mixon, let me ask you a question. How long have some of your patients been working with you?
And we've got patients now that have been with us for over 20 years that are in their 90s who came to us in their 60s. The grandparents now in their 90s are living independently. They're not on walkers. They're not on canes. They're not headed for nursing homes.
I meet people and they ask about, wow, you're in great shape. You have 12% body fat and stuff. What's the secret? I said, it's not a secret. Longevity Medical Clinic has been there for 25 years. There is no secret to the fact that if you make those small changes, you avoid the big, bad, horrible stuff that most of us just think, well, this is what's supposed to happen to me.
And if you're heading downhill and you don't change your direction, you're going to continue going downhill. And what we do at Longevity is we redirect you and we take you back up the hill.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5476. That's 888-973-KIRO.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin. And over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Hey folks, John Curley here. One of the best home comfort inventions of recent time, mini split systems. Now you can enjoy efficient heating and cooling while saving energy and reducing utility bills with personalized room comfort. Call my friends at Home Comfort Alliance for a free consultation, and for a limited time, get 18 months same as cash financing on all qualified systems. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Matt Piper. President Trump is blaming who he calls insurrectionists for unrest in Los Angeles and says if it was up to him, he'd arrest California Governor Gavin Newsom.
People that are causing the problem are professional agitators. They're insurrectionists. They're bad people. They should be in jail.
For a second day, National Guard troops are on the ready in case more protests erupt on the streets of L.A. over the Trump administration's immigration policy. At least 27 people were arrested yesterday. Our Jonathan Vigliotti is there.
It is completely locked down. You easily have hundreds of police officers staged throughout the area. We were here, thousands of protesters yesterday. They've since been dispersed this morning. The focus today, though, for law enforcement, federal buildings, which has become the target for these protests after the National Guard was sent in yesterday.
Newsom says he plans to sue the administration over the National Guard's deployment. Legal analyst Jessica Levinson.
Governor Newsom is saying you're invading on state sovereignty. We don't want
the National Guard to be federalized. And not only did we not ask, we're actively saying we don't want them here.
Scientists at the National Institutes of Health say they're putting their jobs on the line, speaking out in a letter to challenge policies they say undermine their mission.
The letter says Trump administration policies waste public resources and, quote, harm the health of people worldwide. Jenna Norton signed the letter.
What is happening at NIH is so egregious. The harms that we're seeing happen to our research participants and to public health and to the institution of science are just things that we could not live with.
The NIH workers readily admit they have jeopardized their jobs. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
Israeli forces seized a small boat with aid bound for Gaza. As our Elaine Cobb reports from the Foreign Desk, Israel's defense ministry says those on board are expected to return to where they came from.
The small boat was carrying humanitarian aid to Gaza in defiance of an Israeli blockade on the Palestinian territory. Pre-recorded videos from the activists aboard have been publicly released.
If you see this video, we have been intercepted.
Swedish activist Greta Thunberg, who achieved fame as a schoolgirl climate activist, was among them. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition says its boat was illegally boarded and the crew kidnapped. Sweden and France have called on Israel to return their nationals who were on the boat. Elaine Cobb, CBS News.
Justin Baldoni's lawsuit against fellow actors Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds has just been thrown out by a federal judge. Also dismissed Baldoni's libel lawsuit against the New York Times. There have been back and forth lawsuits over their film, It Ends With Us. The Dow was up 115. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Developments in the search for Travis Decker, the man accused of murdering his 3 young daughters. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, you have construction on State Route 529 in Marysville. Traffic is backed up on I-5 nearly to State Route 531. Your travel time, Arlington to Everett, is finally under an hour at 50 minutes. That drive is typically 13 minutes long this time of day. In Kirkland, a crash is blocking 2 lanes on I-405 southbound at Northeast 85th Street, and you have a crash blocking lane on 405 southbound at Northeast 124th Street. You are slow back to Totem Lake. Traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The autopsy has been completed on the 3 young sisters whose bodies were found at a campsite near Leavenworth 1 week ago. The girls suffocated, their deaths ruled a homicide. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office did not reveal when the girls died. They say male blood was also recovered from the scene. Federal officials are now in charge of the search, which continues in central Washington for the girls' father, Travis Decker. The Sheriff's Office remains in charge of the criminal investigation. A Seattle man is behind bars, charged in a string of burglaries at the homes of local sports stars.
King County prosecutors charged 21-year-old Earl Riley IV with several counts of burglary and robbery, including thousands of dollars worth of jewelry and handbags from Seattle Mariners Luis Castillo and Julio Rodriguez, and several watches worth more than $100,000 from former Seahawk Richard Sherman. Prosecuting Attorney's Office spokesperson Casey McNerthney.
They've got that vulnerability where they know they're out of town, where their road trip is advertised better than anybody else.
Riley is being held on $1 million bail. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
It's going to be another hot, sunny day, but if you're heading to local lakes and rivers, KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibow says you should know about cold water shock.
Peter Mongelo with Snohomish Regional Fire wants to remind people that rivers and lakes can be frigid.
If they get in there, it's going to be bone-chilling cold, and if you're not prepared for that, your energy could be sapped really quickly.
According to the National Weather Service, cold shock can happen in 50 to 60 degree water. Lakes closer to the Sound tend to be warmer, but Lake Tapps is at 51 degrees, and the Tolt River and Snoqualmie River sit at 52 degrees.
It's another good reason to always wear a life jacket when you're around open water. Pride Month has kicked off with a Pride in the Park event at Seattle's Volunteer Park. The theme this year is louder, participants tell KIRO 7 TV.
There's a lot happening that's really challenging for the queer and trans communities. A lot of legislative challenges, lots of hate coming our way, and I think louder is a call to standing up, speaking up, fighting back.
The Seattle Pride Parade is set for Sunday, June 29th. Well, starting next year, Seattle will no longer host Microsoft's Build Conference. A Microsoft internal memo obtained by KTTH's Jason Rantz cited problems like drug use and tents around the convention center as a reason for leaving. The company says it is grateful for Seattle's support, but is releasing its reservations for future years. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs around 88 degrees. It's 74 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Welcome back into the Gee and Ursula Show. Happy Monday, June 9th. You know what's been really good about this weather and just about the sun in general? I don't know where you all were last night at around 9:15, but that daylight was still going. It was still going.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Now, there's good and bad news to that. I
want to hear how people are coping with the heat. Are you already calling it in? Are you already saying it's just too hot?
I ain't gonna bring up the heat because
you have AC.
That's why I wasn't gonna bring it up.
Yes, but for those of you who I understand your position so well, because up until 2 years ago, I did not have AC, and living in the basement was not always the best option. And it can be miserable, as much as I love those 80-plus degree days. I love them so much. But trying to sleep at night is a pain in the neck.
Have you straight Eddie sweater all in the house by yourself? How you Eddie sweater in your house?
What is Eddie sweater? And then the other thing that you brought up, which...
What, a swamp? You know what?
Yes.
Oh, you know,
yes.
Ursula, you know. You just got to say it, you know.
Okay, well, text us how you coping with the heat, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. I want to pay off. We were asking what's one of the best places to watch. We said Buffalo Wild Wings, and a couple of other people were sending in sports places to watch, great places to watch sports.
Yeah.
So keep texting us those things too, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
Is anybody watching the OKC Pacers final series? Because I'm not watching any of it. And if OKC wins, that really is a slap in the face to Seattle. Anyway, I had to bring that up. All right, Ursula, let's get to it. Agree to disagree, brought to you by Guard Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
OKC versus Thunder, is that like a live multiplayer role-playing game online?
OKC versus Pacers.
Basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball. All right. Yeah, we definitely don't want OKC to win.
Yeah.
All right. I can't believe I had to suffer through this last week with all the Costco evangelism, but I have to bring it back today. People are apparently bringing their Costco membership cards to the airport because, they didn't have time to get down to the DMV, get themselves a real ID. And so they figure, hey, there's nothing more valuable that shows who I am as a person than my Costco card. TSA is clearly not accepting them as a replacement for real ID. But clearly people value these things incredibly. What's more valuable to you? Your Costco card or a real ID?
Real ID. Let's be real. I can survive without a Costco card. I literally cannot survive without real ID. I can't go make any money at all. So give me real ID all day, Ursula. What you got?
Yeah, as much as I love my Costco card, I don't have real ID yet. So
what?
I don't have the real ID yet.
You really need it.
But you got a passport, though.
But do you really need it?
I do have a passport. I was going to share something that I discovered over this last week.
Because
remember, I was on a cruise, so I was going to foreign countries, and so I had my passport. I was ready to show it each and every time.
Where's your port, though?
Started in Seattle. And then we went to Fort Lauderdale. And then we stop at all these different places.
Okay.
Do you know that I did not have to bring out my passport once, even though I didn't have real ID? And one time I was ready, and coming back into the country, I was like, okay, for sure. They're going to ask. And they said, no problem, because facial recognition. They just made me look in the screen and like, no, we got you. Because I had TSA pre-check. Now, don't quote me on this. This is what happened to me.
Right.
You want to make sure that you show up with some kind of ID, and Costco is not going to cut it, folks.
I just want to say, Ursula, you got a lot of the old Ursula wouldn't even have told that story. See, the new, because you know what's going to happen. They're going to pull up to the airport
and say,
they're going to say, I heard on Gee and Ursula show that Ursula said that she did not have to show her real ID.
We're going to get calls from Homeland Security.
I don't have real ID. I did show my driver's license, so they did look at that. They accepted my driver's license. That's not real ID, like I said. And then they just said, okay, facial recognition. We recognize you. And I had TSA pre-check.
Gee, before I move on, if you did not have to fly for work, what would you rather give up? Flying places or your Costco membership?
My Costco membership.
Really?
Like, you know what? There used to be a time that your boy didn't even have a Costco membership.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because
yes.
I don't need 100 rolls of toilet paper.
See, you guys have been so enthusiastically pro Costco.
Well, we do love Costco.
Yeah.
I love what Costco stands for. I think that you can get great bargains.
Good deal.
At Costco. Great
Horrible
pajamas.
shopping experience.
They give out free samples for food. And you just need to know when to shop and when not to shop. And I love their it's still $4.99, isn't it? The rotisserie chicken?
$5.99.
$5.99. Okay, yeah.
Can't beat it for the kids' birthday parties.
You cannot beat it.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on, though. So Seattle Pride is down $350,000 as companies, both locally, nationally, this is happening with every Pride event. They're pulling out of sponsorships. Seattle Times published a list this morning of companies that have pulled their support. It includes Boeing, Expedia, Amazon, Crystal Mountain Resort, MasterCard, Google, T-Mobile, and Target. Ursula, do you think that people are paying attention to who's dropping out and it's going to make a difference to these companies?
I think a lot of people are paying attention. You can ask Target about whether people are paying attention. Target, I don't have it right in front of me, but I know that they have seen a decline in sales. I know people who are either related to me or married to people who are related to me, and they have just stopped shopping Target because of their removal of their stance on or the DEI, where when it was in favor, it was really important, and they were flouting how they believed in diversity and equity and inclusivity. And then as soon as it came out of favor, they were quick to drop it.
Yeah.
And I think that companies, we're talking about Costco, companies like Costco, I think there are people who do pay attention, and I think it's shameful that there are companies that quickly dropped it as soon as the new administration came. And if there's a change in administration, when there's a change in administration, and if they suddenly adopt it, I know for me personally, I'm going to look at them and go, you guys are hypocrites.
Yeah, it's June. Have you seen how many companies have changed their logos on social media, right? Used to be the flags on everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And suddenly it's like, oh my gosh.
So you all know that I do some work with UNCF. I've been traveling around doing some of their events across the country. That is the United Negro College Fund. And you guys have heard of them. You know the slogan, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. So you're familiar. They've been around like 85 years. I was just recently in Minneapolis, and some of their big sponsors are now saying, hey, we will give, but we don't want to be on your flyer for your event.
How sad is that?
There are organizations that are so afraid of Donald Trump in this administration that they said, hey, here's money, but we don't want you to advertise that we're giving to you.
That's going to backfire so hard. I mean, we just saw this play out with the law firms, right? The law firms that caved into Donald Trump are losing clients at a historic rate. The ones like Perkins Coie, who stood up to the Trump administration, they're holding fast. So I think long term, this is going to play out pretty bad for the companies that decide, like, we're going to lose it with the performative sponsorships.
Okay, just specifically on Target, I'm just looking at, and thank you, AI. They said specifically Target's stock price plummeted by around $27 per share, resulting in a loss of approximately $12.4 billion in market capitalization after they dropped DEI initiatives.
I got to say this. Listen. They have been going hard. And look, some of you guys are like, oh, it's no big deal. Here, Target, I know it's kind of busy. There are parts in the South where there are people that are choosing to go to Walmart and not Target. And the thing is I want to say this. I kind of feel bad for Target. Hear me out for a second. You know what I mean? Because Target is doing no different than a lot of places. There are schools across the country that are dropping DEI, but for some reason, Jamal Bryant, the pastor from Atlanta, has gone all in and made it his personal challenge to have this boycott on Target, and it has worked. And I know Target's like, but wait a minute. How about these other places that have dropped DEI? Y'all ain't boycotting them? No. They said, one at a time. We're going to go after you, Target.
And someone else can be next. And good for the people who are principled and disciplined enough, as much as they love Target, to say, you know what, I'm not going to support them. I'm not. I have such respect for people who can do that.
All right. It goes the other way, too. See Bud Light. Let's go to Utah for a couple who went viral last year for a unique approach to parenting, the backyard experiment. Jeremy and Colby Dame, they live in Heber City with 5 kids, said that their 17-year-old son, Braxton, had become super entitled. So, they decided to take action, and they had him live in a tent in their backyard all summer long. Obviously, he could come in for meals, use the bathroom, etc. Is that overkill on parenting, or do you think that's an effective strategy for a kid who won't listen, acts entitled?
So here's what we're not going to do, Chef.
Yeah.
You're not going to ask me this question on the heels of bringing up, we brought Katrina Gashard in, we brought my daughter in, right? We talked about, hey, Ursula, when you was gone, we talked about gentle parenting.
Oh, no, I was here.
Oh, was you here?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's right, you were. That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Talking about gentle parenting.
Yes.
Now, y'all want to talk about living in a tent? You know why I stand on this. Yes. This is awesome. Matter of fact, how about we start doing this? How about we start making our kids pay for their dinner? Like, hey.
Starting what age?
Start about 10. Now, here's how it goes down. No, wait.
You're being ridiculous.
I'm not being ridiculous. Hear me out. Hey, 10-year-old, this is what's on the menu Monday through Sunday. This is what we're having for dinner. Now, if you want something, because like, I don't like this. I don't want this. Then pay for it. You need to figure out
what money.
What you mean with what money? You can go get paid now. You get a lemonade stand. Yes, you can. You can go rake leaves. Yes, you can. So
how much of this did you actually do with your kids? It's easy to say now.
I bet a lot.
Ursula, baby G. No, I'm being serious now. Baby G has been. Now I didn't go 10, but Baby G has been making money since he was 14 years old, and I did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to instill in him now, so then that way when he's 23, 24, 25, he's not asking his daddy for money.
Yeah.
He knows how to go make money.
Yes.
I don't think you can gentle parent at 17, right?
But I'm not going to ask my kids to pay for a meal at the age of 10 because
how about sleeping in a tent?
They might.
How about sleeping in a tent?
Sleeping in a tent for how long?
A whole summer.
That might be a little far. Would you do it for a week?
Much. Would you do it for a weekend?
Maybe a weekend. Maybe one night.
Now, here's the thing. I think my main man, I ain't trying to put your kids out in the street, but Eric could go for that, living out in the tent.
I can go for it, too. That would not be punishment.
No.
Eric couldn't go for it?
You know how easy it'd be to sneak out the tent?
Both my boys
really
suffered from not. Remember I told you? We didn't go camping.
All right. I got to have a little summer fashion fling. I can't believe I saw this today, but Marie Claire notes that Jennifer Lawrence was recently spotted rocking jorts. Jorts, so those are the cutoff jean shorts with $690 flip-flops.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this can't be a thing. Nordstrom's is literally selling cut-off jorts now. Can you endorse that? Is that like a return to the worst fashion crime of all time? What is going on?
If you can rock jorts, more power to you.
Jorts, man.
I just didn't hear them. They were just cut off jeans.
Hey, Ursula.
Jean shorts.
I
like jorts.
I like how you put it.
I like skorts.
Wait, what's that?
I had a skort on while I was on vacation. Shorts
cut
that
off-
are skirts?
Does it go down to the floor?
No.
Does it go past the knee and is it
past
cut
the
off?
knee?
No.
Is it cut off?
Wait a minute, Ursula. It's above the knee?
Yes. Shorts that are skirts?
Skorts?
Skorts.
Huh.
Yeah,
Well,
but a George...
so basically it has leggings inside and the skirt around the outside. Is that what you're saying?
No, no.
Shorts
They're
that
just
are a dress.
basically a skirt that are shorts as well.
Can I just...
the length of shorts.
I have to look this up. I cannot visualize this.
I just want to just say this for everyone. Here is a sweeping statement.
Okay.
Ladies, the best fit that you can rock in the summertime is a sundress. Sweeping statement, Ursula. You cannot lose. I think the ultimate, I don't care what culture you're from, what state you're from, where you live, financial status, rocking a sundress is the best for a dress code for the ladies.
Oh, okay. And what's the equivalent for the guys? Okay, I'm going to tell you right now.
Gray sweatpants.
Hat backwards? No.
Huh?
No. The cap backwards? No. And the
Are you going to dish on cargo shorts again?
cargo shorts.
Wait.
I like cargo shorts.
Wait, hold
actually.
on.
You know, there's that frat boy. Everyone wears the same thing.
Oh,
the hat backwards.
The polo, the hat, cargos.
Can I tell you guys?
boat
Can I
shoes.
give you guys a secret of mine?
Yes.
Because I feel attacked with the hats backwards. Sometimes I wear the hat backwards to shave off 10 years.
Oh.
Because the hat backwards makes you go a little younger. So I'll do the hat backwards. Now, today I look like a dad. Because when you got the hat that's right here, boom, I look like a daddy today.
So when you wear a backwards hat, I know that you're like, hey, young kids, I'm fitting
You're trying to hang on to your youth.
Oh,
amazing. I got to get with the jorts, though. I mean, that was probably the most economical fashion choice of all time. Jeans wear out, cut them off, good.
One more sweeping statement.
Okay.
Fellas, stop wearing sandals, flip-flops. Stop it. Stop
Are you
it.
kidding?
Don't, yeah. No, I'm not.
Why?
Don't do it.
Okay, gee.
No, don't do it. Can't wear that stuff.
Or just
I'm sorry.
at least have your toenails trimmed
What
properly.
do you wear? The beach, the pool.
He's wearing sneakers.
Okay, that's different. So, to the beach and to the pool is different. Out to dinner, date night, you're going out to a restaurant. That's some. And by the way, this is some old
not at a
Seattle.
restaurant.
That's some old Seattle stuff too.
Grocery store?
No,
Yes.
won't allow it.
It's hot.
By the way, did you
Crocs.
mention $700 flip-flops in that last segment?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean in Parkland says, I think the $700 flip-flops is the real crime. You're not wrong on that one.
Hey, if you can get away with that business, sign me up.
By the way, I just got to tell you, Ursula, I am so proud on this. Like today, I have been really slipping some things in there to the show that I ain't never slipped in on the show today. I'm really proud.
Flip-flops, I'm ashamed of you.
You didn't mention sundresses, though?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah, I told you.
I'll see you there.
I told you. All right, Ursula. Coming up at 11:30, you got something good to talk about,
Yeah,
right?
do you know that controversial sign on I-5 down in Lewis County?
Yeah.
Uncle Sam billboard?
Yeah.
New owner. What do you think they're going to be putting on those billboards?
It depends on who owns it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay, what would you want to see on those billboards? Do you want to see anything on those billboards? Okay, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Text us,
I have
888-973-5476, 888-973.
I have a very unpopular opinion about that billboard.
Okay.
All right. We'll do it next. Gee Ursula. This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
A big story developing this morning.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
Get the latest live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Huge impacts for Boeing and Boeing workers.
The office, the gym, anywhere.
Water, like taxes, goes all the way down to the bottom, so it'll either come out of the employee's paycheck or the lack of raise.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
before I went on vacation, I had lunch with my friend Sharon, and she told me that she was thrilled with the results after she called my friends at Bathfitter. So she just bought a beautiful new place, but the bathroom was really old. I mean, it was in desperate need of help. And so she, like me, did research. She checked around, and sure enough, she found out that Bathfitter gave her the very best deal. And so the crew came over, the expert crew came over, and she was thrilled with the end result. At Bathfitter, you are not getting a cookie cutter solution. It's one of the things that we loved about it. You get to design your own bath, whether it's the walls, the tub, the handles, the door, the colors. Their designer will help you create that perfect bath or shower that will perfectly fit your needs, your style, and your budget. Bathfitter's quality is truly unmatched as well. They use the very best materials, and they take laser precise measurements. And what that means for you is that you are going to have a bath that is built to last. They have more than 40 years experience. It's no wonder they have more than 2 million happy customers, including Sharon and me. And right now they are offering 0% interest for 24 months. So call Dream Bath for that dream bath. Call Bathfitter today or visit bathfitternw.com.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security. Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Stylin'. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, gentle yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Days of protests in downtown Los Angeles over immigration raids and deportations leads to a protest in Seattle. Live to KIRO News Radio's James Lynch. James?
Heather, there are several hundred people here on the steps of City Hall, all members of Seattle's labor community and Service Employees International Union. They're marching in solidarity in support of detained SEIU California President David Herta. He was arrested over the weekend during the protests in California. They've chanted "No hate and no fear. Immigrants are welcome here," meaning in Seattle. They say they want ICE and the Department of Homeland Security to stop harassing immigrants, let them live their lives, work, take care of their families, and pay taxes. Reporting live in downtown Seattle, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Thank you, James. Now, President Trump deployed 300 National Guard troops to Los Angeles in light of the protests. Governor Gavin Newsom says he did not request those troops. He accuses Trump of adding fuel to the fire, his words, and he plans to sue. And CBS's Scott McFarland says some are seeing a double standard.
The Trump administration's denunciation of the unrest in Los Angeles, yet its acceptance of what happened January 6th and the mass pardons.
Hundreds were accused of beating police officers at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Here in Washington state, the autopsy has been completed on the 3 young sisters whose bodies were found at a campsite near Leavenworth 1 week ago. The girls suffocated. The Chelan County Sheriff's Office did not reveal when they died. They say male blood was recovered at the scene. Their father, Travis Decker, is the suspected killer. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin has the latest on the search for him.
Over the weekend, Icicle Canyon outside Leavenworth was crawling with law enforcement on the ground and choppers just constantly flying overhead. Those crews include the National Guard, Coast Guard, Border Patrol, Homeland Security, and city, county, and state resources. I've been speaking with the locals here, all of them saying you didn't have to know the girls personally to see how bright of a light they were.
Federal officials are now in charge of the search. The sheriff's office remains in charge of the criminal investigation. Seattle hit 90 degrees yesterday, the hottest June 8th in nearly 80 years. The National Weather Service says the old record was 87 degrees set in 1948. There is a heat advisory through 10 tonight. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 112 points, NASDAQ ahead 84. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, your drive is improving out of the north where you have construction on State Route 529 in Marysville, still backed up to Levin Road. Travel time Arlington to Everett is under an hour. Finally, it's 41 minutes. That drive is usually 13. In SeaTac, a crash is blocking the westbound 518 Airport Expressway off-ramp. You're still a bit slow on I-405 southbound through Kirkland, where you had 2 earlier crashes. Traffic brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance. Get whole house cooling and heating from one ultra-efficient new heat pump and save up to $6,000 and take 18 months to pay. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunshine with highs around 88 degrees. It's 74 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. I hope you are managing the heat wave that we are currently experiencing. Hope it's not too much for you. And if you don't have AC, that you have a friend who has AC. But hey, we've been talking about this billboard on I-5 in Lewis County for a while now.
Yeah.
And it's got Uncle Sam on it. You know which one we're talking about. It has a new owner. it turns out the Confederated Tribes of the Chehalis Reservation bought this 3.5 acre property, which includes the billboard, for $2.5 million in cash.
Mm-hmm.
A spokesman for the tribe told the Seattle Times that the sale is not only an excellent opportunity to develop this property, but it also gives the tribe a chance to buy back tribal land that they had to cede more than 150 years ago. So the Chehalis tribe has not decided what it is going to do with the sign, but the current messages are coming down, they said, for sure.
Yeah. By the way, who were the illegals back then? Y'all don't want to talk. I know.
Yeah. This was supposed to be a fun segment.
Okay.
What are we gonna do? What do we want to see?
I'm glad you brought that up, and I did that for a reason, Ursula. First, here's my unpopular opinion about this topic. I used to think that sign was funny. I used to laugh, and every time when I would go to Portland or down there, my goal was to see just how racist this sign could be. And it would get...
So would you laugh because you actually thought it was funny, or you would laugh like, oh my God, pathetic?
I know I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
So I would always make it a point to look at it. And the reason why it stood out to me is because I remember making the drive from Portland to Seattle back in 1999, the first time I came, and I saw the sign then. I don't remember what it said, but I paid attention, like, whoa, that was kind of different. Anyways, so here's my point. What's going to happen when they start telling the truth? If there's one thing that I've learned, there's some folks that don't like the truth. I tell y'all all the time, I don't like stepping on a scale, the weight scale, on a Monday, because I don't like the truth. And so the reason why I asked about who were the illegals back then, that's the kind of truth you're going to get on that board. And it's interesting that...
So they haven't said yet what they're going to do with it. So my understanding is that they haven't decided. They just said, we're going to take down the messages.
Oh, they're not going to tell the truth on the board?
Yeah, that's what we're hoping they do. Like, hey, here's a chance for you to educate a lot of people about...
But do people want that? Do people really want the truth? Because I have learned since doing this show that
some people do. Yes. Okay, I'll answer the question.
Yeah, you're
Some
right.
people really do want to know the truth.
You really
and they
do.
want the truth to be taught in history classes. They want the truth because, whether it's, all the truth about Christopher Columbus or we can't just have surface level information that we pass along from generation to generation and then we're shocked. Because what happens with history? History often repeats itself, correct?
Yeah.
So the more you know about the truth, the better chance you have of doing better than what has happened in previous years.
Okay.
So, the idea, and just in case there are people who have no idea about this billboard we're talking about. So it's got Uncle Sam on it. It's, like I said, just off of I-5 in Chehalis. It's been there since the 1960s. And it was put up there by this cattle farmer named Al Hamilton and his wife. And some people said, hey, this is great. It's free speech. And sometimes, I'll be honest, I sometimes laugh too. But then this dude started getting a little bit crazy and doing things about, for example, the birtherism conspiracy.
Yeah.
Involving President Obama.
Whatever happened with that?
Or during COVID, saying some things that, again, were like at a time when you didn't need to people to be putting factually incorrect stuff or incorrect information out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that guy was quite the character. And he said that many of the displays came from the John Birch Society. You can look that up. And it's a group. It's a right-wing anti-communist political advocacy group known for promoting conspiracy theories. So if you want to know what was up with that dude, that was who was behind it. But again, the good news is the Chehalis tribe has now purchased it.
Yeah. Ultimately, do something else with the sign. You know
Do
what I
you
mean?
want Uncle Sam to it's not landmark status. So I suppose that anyone, I don't think they bought the property because of the billboard.
Mm-hmm.
It just so happened that billboard comes with it.
Yeah.
It's what everyone knows.
Right.
But I think there would be an opportunity for the tribe to put in some kind of educational component. Learn more about the Chehalis tribe.
Yeah, I agree. Jay from Auburn just texted in and he says, so what's the truth? Your truth? You're so not the truth? Like, here's the thing about
what really happened in history.
What really happened? Like, it's not hard. Like, I say this all the time. Ursula, I tell you what's happening. On Wednesday, for you, Chef, and Nick, you get this right, I order lunch for y'all.
He knows you're not going to get it right. That's why he's offering.
No.
Okay, go for it.
It's on you, Ursula.
Oh, what?
You got to get it. No, this is for all three of y'all.
Okay.
You ready? What I always say about the truth?
It never expires.
Come on, you won.
Okay,
yeah, he won.
But you're getting us lunch?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, the thing is, I had to give Ursula something good. Because like the last 2 months, Ursula been striking out. So, hey, Nick, Ursula just won y'all lunch on Wednesday.
All righty, jackpot.
And by the way, y'all notice I just do it for here now. Hey, I just want the days of the newsroom. Oh, that's over. Oh, no, G ain't doing that no more.
You gotta have if you're gonna buy lunch and put it out in the newsroom, you gotta put it in like vegetable tray containers to disguise it, because then people won't migrate over.
Yeah.
We need an access code for it.
Good job, bro. You know what? That was kind of too easy.
No, we're good.
I wouldn't have got it.
You wouldn't have got that one? What I always say about the truth?
Oh, that, yeah.
Yeah, you would have got that, Chef. Nick, would you have got it?
Yeah.
All right. I still haven't got your music yet. Ever.
Oh, that one's harder.
Text messages, feedback, and then we'll have Ursula's words to live by.
You listen to Seattle's morning news every morning. What do Charlie and Manda listen to every afternoon?
I absolutely love listening to John Curley because he makes you think, which I love.
John has a real special talent in being able to talk about the topics we care about, but he's always trying to make it fun. And you're going, oh, this guy actually gets it.
The John Curley Show, weekdays 3 to 7. Watch The John Curley Show live on YouTube or the KIRO Newsradio App.
G. Scott here. I recently spoke with my friend Jonathan at DUI Heroes about how he and his team treat new clients. What he told me is that they always recognize the human being behind the charge and treat them the way that they want to be treated. He and his team take care of the individual, the human being, throughout the entire process. People make mistakes. If you or your loved one has been accused of DUI, call DUI Heroes and speak to a lawyer today. 1-800-DUI-HEROES or DUIHeroes.com, your DUI defense specialist.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in